So welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to take a look into turning all these splines into geometry. Grab one of them and let's select any you like. So just grab the one and then let's go to our simple pipe script and click it till this menu pops up. Let's take a look and see what these numbers all mean. Okay, so the radius is basically the thickness of the hair strand that is going to result from this calculation. The round is the number of loops of your cylinder, the round ones, and then the long is actually the length. So it's basically how many loops you want towards going across the length of the spline. And the rotate, taper, and twist are self-explanatory, but we're going to leave it as default because we don't want to touch in that. Okay, so let's just grab the one and choose create. And if we click it now, you can see that we have 12 sides to this cylinder, so that's how round it is. The length we have 20, which is probably not enough because it gets a bit faceted here, and the radius, the hair is like 0.04 thick, which is quite a lot. In games, normally the hairs are thicker than in real life games, and that's simply because if a hair is small on a screen, a hairstyle, and then if the screen just goes away, like at this distance and at this distance, if the hair of the character is small, then your hair will basically be sub-pixel rendered, which is basically when the occupies less than 1 pixel on the screen. And at 60 frames per second, it's just going to start to vanish and disappear. So we want to have hair that is thicker than real life, but we want it to be realistic enough or looking like hair enough. So we need to find a sweet spot in between. And that all depends also on our texture. So the resolution of your texture, in this case, I'm using 4K by 4K. We can go a bit thinner because there's going to be more pixels to work with, while on a 2K it will be 4 times less, and like 1K 4 times even less. So let's just take a look at this then and try and find the values that we want. So the radius is, I'm going to put it to like 0.1 just to see how it goes. The roundness is, I'm going to do like 6, which is the minimum I recommend. And the lengthwise, I'm going to do just like 80 just to see. This updates as you go. So as you can see, it just starts to update. But if you want to just make sure, you can just click delete, and you don't need to select it. It will delete the ones that aren't finalized yet. So the logic here is you click one, you create. If you're happy, you choose finalize. If you're not, you just choose delete. Okay, in this case, let me take a look. I think 80 length is probably too much. Maybe we can go with like 60. And 0.01 seems kind of thin to me, really thin. So I'm gonna go with 0.02, and we can use inflate in ZBrush if we want to shrink it a little bit more. So these settings seem all right for me. If you're doing the exact same type of setting, maybe this will do for you as well, but just find your own. Make sure it's at a distance. It's like looking like a strand of hair that basically you could see. Okay, this would probably be thicker than a real life hair, like I mentioned. Okay, once you're happy with these settings, you can click delete, and then you have to select all of them. I recommend you selecting them the way I'm doing it now. So just go across and select, hold shift, and then select them again. Make sure just that is selected, the plane is not selected. Okay, and once you have them all selected, you can choose on create and it will compute. Okay, now depending on the splines that you have, it's going to take longer or less time. It just really depends on your computer as well and your speed. So just take it. You can do chunk by chunk as well. If it gets too heavy, you can do like a bit and then another bit and then just keep going. Make sure you finalize them after it's done. In this case, and for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just gonna pause the video for now and come back once they're done. So everything finished. you should be getting a result similar to this. Okay, lots of tubes everywhere, and from that moment on, you just click finalize. It'll take a little bit to compute, but not as much. And as it goes through, it's just gonna erase all the history and everything that is not necessary for this asset to exist. So, bit of time and it's done. Just see, I think it's completed now. Very good. This just resulted in lots of pipes here, as you can see. If we select them all, here they are. Okay, which is great. Let's just get all the curves themselves into a group. Well, Control G will make them into a group, and then this group we can just hide. And now we just have the geometry there. So if we select the pipes again, all that, we can just go File, Export Selection. We're going to go here and create a new folder called Meshes. And this folder, we're just going to go and call it, well, in this file, we're going to call it tutorial. Yeah, hi Polly. And we export. Another thing that we will do is actually export this plane here. This is actually our low poly plane. So this is the plane where we're going to project. I can't select it because I have my layer here like we said it before. So if I just click here, I can actually select the plane. And with the plane selected, I can go File, Export Selection. Let's go into the Meshes folder. We can call this low poly. Great. I'll see you in the next video.